Today I wanted to take you through 5 of the most interesting books that I'm seeing selling over on Amazon KDP right now. If you're new to publishing or you're a seasoned publisher, then you might find this interesting because I'm looking at different niches and different spaces. Now, they're not all massive earners, but I still think there is an element of interest to all of them. I think let's just dive straight in, and I would love you to leave me a thumbs up when you find the book that you loved the most and thought, wow, yeah, that is interesting, because I think some of these might surprise you. Now, I'm going to start off today with a big hitter. So we're going to start off with the Mum, I Want to Hear Your Story books. Now, this is a collection. Jeffrey Mason has kind of built a brand around this called Hear Your Story, and we've looked in a previous video at how actually social media presence isn't huge, though perhaps initially there was a bit of advertising and, promotion, but also we know that he's been featured in multiple editorial publications, including Oprah Daily, E! News. So his books are still growing, and his BSR currently is down to 12. That means he's selling over 23,000 books every single month, which I think is insane. That means he's making just over $100,000 on the Mum, I Want to Hear Your Story book. And that completely discounts his other bestsellers, which is Dad, I Want to Hear Your Story and Grandmother, I Want to Hear Your Story, which also have BSRs below 100, which is absolutely phenomenal. And you think this is actually like competing against publishing houses. So this isn't just an Amazon KDP BSR. Now, how do I find out all this information? Well, of course, I use my favorite trusty tool, BookBolt. I like to go in, I like to use the cloud and have a look through and just kind of filter by book types, BSR, and yeah, it just really helps me and I find it interesting. I tend to do it maybe on a weekly basis because I like to see any changes, any updates, and actually from when I prepped this video to today, I prepped and the book was at 19 BSR and today the book is at 12. So it's changing all the time. I'm literally filming this video 4 days after I prepped it. Things are changing, and I think as it gets closer to Christmas, this may become like even higher in terms of BSR. So that's a really interesting one. Please note that this book is copyrighted, so you cannot go out there and copy this book, but you can of course like create your own kind of version and spin on it. Just do not use certain words. You can go on there and you can read a sample, but do not rip this work off. Like it's so good and it's doing really well. And it deserves it. Like he's got a genuine story and yeah, I think it's a beautiful story actually. Next up, we've got Coco Wyo, of course, who have recently released a new book called Super Cutie. And of course, it has gone straight in as a bestseller. So already its BSR is 47. They're making around $2.08 per book. And they're selling nearly 15,000 copies a month. Now through September into October, that's obviously going to ramp up. That's going to become a much higher number. So, but at this current number, just below 15,000, that's meaning this one book is making over $30,000 every single month. And we already know they have other books that are also bestsellers. And they are making over 100K on some of those books, multiple books. And I suspect, as this comes up to Halloween, this book will be up there as well. I also noticed that they've also released a few other kind of spooky cutie books. This one's specifically spooky cutie, but a few other like Halloween style books. So they're definitely looking to capitalize on the market right now. Next up, we have got, I found this one really interesting. So the BSR was really good. I was surprised at the, I guess, how much the author is making per book, but because of the volume of sales, they're making okay money. It's not life-changing money, but I thought because of the simplicity of the book, I would definitely bring this to you because this is something that anyone can create really, really simply. So it's blank comic books. And the BSR for this one is 6,262, which means they're selling around 550 copies every single month. And by just making 69 cents per book, they're able to make close to $400 per month. He's actually got multiple books out there. So he is also making good sales on a few others. So I reckon he's probably making a bit more than that, but I mean, it's still not bad, is it? I mean, if you had a few of those, this book would not have taken him long to create. Again, in BookBolt, which of course I'll leave the link to down in the description and in my pinned comments as well, you've got the templates to set up your own comic books. But what they particularly liked, I did have a look through on the reviews on this book, was that they liked that the book was a larger format. So they've gone for, I think it was an 8.5 by 11 inch book. So it's much larger. And they preferred that. And there was also a mix of comic book layouts, which I think kind of appealed. Whereas a lot of people tend to put in like the same all the way through. And people found it like to be allow them to be really creative with the books. So I thought it was really interesting because it's almost a no content book. It's even like the cover is really simple, really basic. I'm sure like a lot of thought went into it, but it's worked. It's crazy. Also, just imagine, I'm not much of a drawer or an artist, but imagine you were and you were creating these comic books, blank comic books, I guess is the better way to put it. And you were able to draw and kind of like do TikToks and things like that. I think sales on this book could go even higher than they already are. If you had like the right endorsers, or you could do it yourself. And then this one here I really loved. So this one actually has a lower, even though the number's higher, BSR of 16,707. So around, it's 10,000 lower in terms of BSR. So it's only selling 243 copies per month. But this book is making $3.75 per sale. And it's how to draw 365 cute stuff every day. I mean, the title doesn't exactly ring, but it's got a lot of different keywords in there. So even within that title, you've got keywords packed in. The cover looks super cute. It's really lovely. And because of that margin, they're actually making just below $1,000 per month. Again, they've got other books, so they are making a lot more than that. And I found it really interesting. This one is a slightly more challenging book to make, but it's not impossible. You can go to somewhere like Creative Fabrica and you can get templates and put them into your KDP books. And I'll link to Creative Fabrica below. Or you could use like a clip art type picture and then almost reverse the process. So you start like rubbing out lines, which I think is kind of easier to do in something like Kittle rather than Canva. Canva does have capabilities, but it is a little bit more fiddly because you've got to use the erase tool. But it's not impossible. You can absolutely do that. And if you can actually draw yourself, then you could simply draw it on a tablet or iPad and kind of go from there. And then last up, which I thought was really cool, and I guess again, this may be down to the time of year, like kids are just going back to school. This one is called the K2 Primary Journal by Fanta Primary. And its BSR was 1,693. They're selling around 1,500 copies a month, which I thought was amazing. The BSR for the previous 30 days was actually 83,281. So this was massively ramped up due to its seasonality, I think. They're making 75 cents per book. And all this is like a book with handwriting lines going through it. It's a very simple, basic book again. But again, it's making over $1,100 per month. And like I say, I don't think this book is doing exceptionally well in terms of like sales all of the time, but seasonally I think this book's going to do quite well for them, and they've got other books along in their collection as well. So let me know down in the comments which book you liked the sound of the most. Obviously we had some that you would need to put a lot more effort into, and some that would be really simple and easy for you to create within a platform like BookBolt. And if you found that you got value out of this video, then please don't forget to like and subscribe. Don't forget to turn those notification bells on as well, so you don't miss out when my next video drops. Now, if you would like to have a bit of a deeper dive on Mum, Tell Me Your Story books, then please watch this video here, because here I take a deep dive on the book. We look at the revenue, we look at how they're advertising, what they're doing, look inside the book, look at the listing, and we break it all down. Thank you so much for watching today. I cannot wait to see you all next time. See you soon. Bye.